Mr. Secretary, good afternoon. Thanks for being here. I know that we've dealt numerous times on a variety of issues after the 2011 flood, and I certainly appreciate the cooperation of our district director for DEP, Marcus Cole, and of course Tom Santana, who works on your staff as well. I'd like to go back to some of those issues that we've worked on in Columbia County. Just a couple unfinished answers to questions that I have. Has DEP been addressing or providing funding for the removal of stream debris and gravel bars? And I ask this question to you specifically because throughout Columbia County along Fishing Creek, there are numerous examples that still exist of debris built up in the stream. And as far as gravel bars, I know that we had one project there where we were able to remove a portion of a gravel bar in conjunction with another program that we were working on there. However, a big portion of it remains there, and that's just one location that I'm thinking of now. There are numerous. And of course, they're very visible. People that have been stung by a flooding event, look for signs of relief in certain areas, and when it's a constant reminder to them, then that psychological relief never goes away. And of course, we have the evidence in our community of a number of homes that were destroyed by flooding that had to be demolished and removed. And in one community in particular, it is believed that the size of the gravel bar, the mature vegetation that had collected on that gravel bar over a number of years contributed greatly to the demise of a dozen homes. So that is a reason for my question to you, if there is funding for it, and if we've got any identified programs, and of course I'm interested in Columbia County at this point.
Right, and Dana and I have talked about this. On our line item, it says flood control projects in our budget. That money, that line item really is for these kinds of projects, these stream restoration projects to address flooding issues. So Jeff may have the exact number. I don't have the number in front of me, but I know that line item is there, and that's specifically what that money is to be used for.
And is there an application process directly through your department to access that funding?
Within Growing Greener $1, we have this year projecting approximately $17.8 million for watershed protection and restoration.
And the communities would make that application to you?
Yes.
Okay. Now, in this example that I'm thinking of in the lower end of Bloomsburg, the west end of Bloomsburg, we have a flood control project that is going to be done. Hopefully, we'll be able to break ground on it. We're working very closely with DEP on a lot of the permits, doing a lot of the excavating, the boring and the testing of the samples, everything A to Z. But with regard to the gravel bar, we believe that some of the material in that gravel bar can be utilized in the proposed flood wall or flood protection. Is it just a simple matter of getting a permit? It will not cost your department any money, supposedly, other than a permit, because we have an entity that funding is already in place for to construct this flood protection. We can use that material.
If you're asking me if you can use it, we can certainly check with our folks in the Northeast region, or in this case, North Central region, and get an answer back for you.
Okay.
Nothing. I'm not seeing a reason. I can't think of a reason off the top of my head why that would be a problem. But I don't want to give you an answer without making sure that it's right.
And in all fairness to you, the reason that I ask that is that there may be more projects that are duplicated across the state that are in close proximity to problematic areas where we can, do some good with two projects at one time. So I appreciate if you would get back to me on that. And the only other question that I have is that the past year, of course, we've seen significant damage and flooding from storms all across Pennsylvania, And the municipality is, of course, it takes a long time, but they continue to work to address the problems and find solutions. How closely does your department, your agency, work with the federal government, the state government agencies, the Fish Commission? I know that every time we enter a stream, other than to go swimming or cast a line to catch a fish, that there's always some involvement with the Fish Commission in a lot of these permit reviews and everything else. So is there a close working relationship there and with PEMA as well?
I think we have a fairly close working relationship with our sister agencies. And as it relates to stream debris removal, especially after storms and things that I know affect everyone's districts, one of the things we've begun doing, it became evident to me speaking to a number of township supervisors, that there is this perception that it's very difficult to obtain a permit to clean the debris out of the stream after a flood. And we know that if it doesn't get done, the situation only exacerbates the next time there's a storm event. We've embarked on our own sort of education mission with our local government liaisons, and so that they're actually going out to the municipalities and explaining to the municipalities, whether it's the township manager or the public works director, how to apply for and receive an emergency permit from DEP, which they can get almost immediately. The turnaround time is, I think, sometimes it's less than 24 hours.
Yeah.
And it allows folks to get into the stream to clean that debris out timely, which is typically the complaint I hear. It's not so much that they don't have the equipment to do it or the money to do it. They don't have they believe that it takes them months to get these permits. It does not take months to get an emergency permit. And where necessary, I've instructed our folks in the regions that they should, if they need an extension of an emergency permit, that we should be issuing that, because we are sensitive to that concern. And as it relates to general stream debris cleanup that isn't an emergency nature, that if you're going to put equipment in the water or whatever else, we're going to need permits. And there are a lot of important reasons for that, but we certainly work with the applicant to make sure that we make the process as painless as possible and as swift as possible.
Well, and the reason for my question there, of course, is that we've enjoyed a good working relationship with your department, but I cannot say that I or our municipalities have had that same level of success with the Army Corps. We're very disappointed with them with a number of issues that we've had. Now, I know that the flood project that we're doing, monies were made available through Act 13 and a variety of other programs. I just put that information out there for the members and the public, that if they have issues, that there are some specific ways to approach it to bring resolve to it. And of course, one of those steps in that process is working with your agency. So,
yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.